All right, everybody. We're looking at assignment 4 here, and it can be done pretty easily. However, doing it well and really making the illusion work is going to take quite a bit of fine tuning and adjustment in your software. So, a couple things. We're looking at the first one here, and that's going to be your the clear distinction between foreground and background. The two tips that I have on that are, first of all, overlap. If you've got things in a foreground, they're clearly going to cover up things in the background, so take advantage of that. Our brain is going to read overlapping objects in a very spatial way, so overlap. The second thing is if you make your shapes in the foreground, in this case cubes, uh, different than the shapes in the background, there is going to be that separation as well. I've seen these where somebody will try to put an organic type shape in the foreground, an organic type shape in the background, and because the shapes are basically the same where they feel similar, you lose a lot of that figure ground contrast. So different shapes and then overlapping are sort of going to be the key to this one. The second one, you want it to be unclear what's the foreground, what part's the foreground, what part's the background. And this one's actually kind of tricky because when you first maybe looked at this image, it looked like a black shape on a white ground with some holes cut out of it. Or maybe it looked like white shapes on a black ground and that white shapes were sort of encroaching on the edges. So it goes back and forth pretty well, I think. And the whole time you're working on it, you're going to be looking at ways to crop the image down so that things are touching the edges, and you've got black and white touching the edges. That's usually the key on this one to me. And then from there, you constantly, going back and forth, asking with every shape, is this shape, is this an object on a ground, or is this a hole cut out of a ground or a field of color, or black in this case? So, are we looking at circles that have been cut out of black, or are we looking at white circles on top of black? Up here, is this white sort of wedge shape here? Is that a white shape on top of this black area here, or has this been cut out of the black and we're seeing the white through the black shape? It's there's no real formula for creating these, but balancing the amount of black and white helps. Making sure that you do have black and white touching the edges, and then sort of framing it in your mind as you're working on it. That question: is this a hole or is this an object on a field of black or white? And if you can do that, I think you'll get there pretty well. So. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions about this one. There are quite a few things going on with it, so it can get pretty complicated. So yeah, let me know.